So you have a feeling your music sounds a bit repeating. You find it difficult to reinvent yourself and your music sounds the same as everyone else's. More and more producers are rising, so it gets harder to compete every day. Today you learn some very important elements to make your music stand out from the crowd. Let's get into FL Studio. Whatever you do, your 808 just doesn't sound like a pro. Now let me reveal their secret. Instead of applying effects on your 808, we're gonna split the frequencies and treat them all differently. To do that, make sure the 808 is sent to a mixer track. Then on the mixer, open up Patcher. Now this is basically a huge effects rack. On the left is where the sound comes in, and in between you can put effects. On the right, this is where the sound will leave and go back to the mixer. Now right-click Patcher and find the frequency splitter. Once it's open, change the split send for the lows to 1, the mids to 2, and the high to 3. Then close it up and go back to Patcher. Now right-click the effect and go to Outputs, then Audio, and here you can add these 3 sends one by one. Do that until they're all visible as a point right here. Now when you hover over them with your mouse, you can see which send it is in the hint panel. And now you can add effects on every frequency separately. For example, let's add distortion to the lows only. Right-click and find Fruity Fast Distortion. Then connect the low send to the distortion effect. Then drag the right line to the output of Patcher, and now only the lows will come through. Of course, adjust the distortion to your personal liking. Okay, we're done with the lows. Let's get to the mids. We're gonna put a chorus on the mid frequencies. Again, connect the mid send to the chorus and then connect the effect to the output. For the high frequencies, we're just gonna leave them as they are. You get the point. Now you can add effects to your 808s without worrying about the lows at all. Now, tip number 2. You always hear this saying, you should always put your 808 in mono. Now, not always and not exactly. By turning the mixer knob, you will put everything to mono, even the highs and the mids. Now, if you want to do this correctly, make sure the 808 is sent to a mixer. Then on a mixer track, open up Maximus. This is actually a multiband compressor where you can compress multiple frequencies. But what we're gonna do is put the lows to mono so that we can still play with the other frequencies. Now, to do that, solo the low band. Now you can only hear them. Next, turn the stereo separation knob all the way to the right. It's basically the same one as in the mixer track, but now it's only applied to the low frequencies. And that's actually it. Now you can apply Patcher again and play with the other frequencies. And that is awesome. Alright, tip number 3. Using plugins that are usually meant for other genres. Let's say you make trap beats and you find your melodies to have the same sound every time. Well, that means you should try an instrument that's not necessarily meant for trap. For example, Lo-Fi Panda. Because this is a lo-fi plugin, the sounds are old and can be very useful in dark trap beats. To show you what this plugin can do, I created this quick beat loop. Now this is still one of my favorite instruments and I use it almost in every beat. So you know what, I'll leave a link below so you can check it out. Tip number 4. Using silences to grab the listener's attention. Adding silences can be something like this. It's a moment where all the music suddenly cuts off. Now, don't overdo this because then, of course, it becomes predictable and that's counterintuitive. Tip number 5. Creating your own drum kits and instruments from scratch with stock plugins in FL Studio. To continue the lesson and learn all of that, click the video right here. Goodbye.